Good afternoon, everyone. Today I'll be showing you how to make a beaded bookmarks. Let's get to it. Okay, so to make today's craft, you're going to need cord. This is this braiding cord, but you can also use thread or yarn or even ribbon to make your bookmark. And you need some beads. I'm using these fascinated beads, which are round but kind of have the edges sketched into them, but you can use any kind of beads that you wanted. Pony beads work just as well. And I'm also using charms for the very end of my bookmark, but those are optional. On this one I used a key charm for the very end, but that's optional. So let's get to it. So to measure your cord, basically I'm just using a book as a reference. So you just want the cord to be a little bit longer than the book itself. You just want a sort of tail dangling off the bottom of the book, because what's going to happen is you're going to put part of the cord inside and then the other part is going to dangle on the top. So you want the one bit to be longer. So that is going to be your reference point for measuring the cord. It's going to wrap it around so it's both dangling about evenly, and just trim it down. And once you have that ready, you're going to once again use the book as a reference on where to start putting your beads. So I'm going to put it right about there. I'm going to take the one end and I'm going to make a knot. You can also double knot it for just a little added security. Depending on the types of beads, sometimes you just don't want the beads to slide over the knot. And when you do this, make sure you leave enough room on the end to do your finishing knot. That's the only little preface, but then you can just start beading. Use any color pattern that you want, any style of beads you want. Just go for it and use your imagination. And as you're going along, if the cord can start to get frayed, you can just kind of give the end a bit of a twist, like so. If it still won't work, you might have to trim it down a little bit, which I think this one might. Yes, just give it a little snip. You don't have to take much off because, like I said, you want to try to keep enough of a tail on there so you could do your finishing knot at the bottom. And you leave as much room on the end for the amount of beads that you want. I'm probably going to do about 6 beads total. I think that'll work. So it's a few more. Speed this up a little. So I did about 6 beads, and I think that's good enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie a knot at the end of my beads. And if you want, you could double knot it, give it a bit of added security. Beads don't move around as much. And then what I'm going to do is add a charm to the bottom. I'm just going to, it's getting frayed again, so I'm just going to give it a little twist. Yeah, and I'm just going to tie a knot there. After you tie a knot, you're just going to that down so you have a nice little beaded charm there. And if you want, you can duplicate your pattern on the other side and add some beads on the other side, which I'm going to do. So just about even on the other side, you're going to do your double knot again. Just a bit of security, and then you'll bead the other side. Alright, and when you're doing both ends, make sure you leave enough space on the tail of your thread so you can do your final knot. Remember, everything's optional. If you don't have any charms, they don't need it. They're pretty just as beads on their own. Any color scheme that you like. You could add more beads than this, fewer beads. Remember, it is your project, it's your world. You can just use your imagination and experiment with it. Last knot's always the hardest, but there you go. So that is the one side, and there's the other. A little tree charm, and then when you are reading, you could simply mark your page by putting the one end in. Like so. So you have a fancy way of saving your page, and it's also optional if you wanted to even do the beads on the second side. You could just leave that as a thread and just knot the end and just keep the one side.
So that was it for today's craft. Hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, bye!